Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this special session looking at GEM for you that are attending. Obviously, we're delighted this year that it's going to be at the Intercontinental London, the O2. I'd like to introduce my colleague here, Paul Draper. He's our Digital Services Manager. He's going to be talking to us a little bit about how the appointments work, the best way to use those. My name's Nick Greenfield. I'm Head of Tour Operator Relations here at ETOA. I have actually attended GEM on many occasions in the past as a tour operator and been to many other events as well, and over the years also been there making announcements, helping out. So I've seen it from every side, every angle you can imagine. The first thing I would say really about these workshops, especially GEM, the Global European Marketplace, the biggest one, is don't forget, what's interesting is you're going to have appointments with people where you've very much chosen them and they've chosen you. You're going to have appointments with people who you may not have chosen but may be interested in you, and vice versa. And then you will also, during the coffee breaks, during the lunchtime, at the end when we have a wonderful reception, a chance also to randomly meet with people as well. It is a really fantastic day to network in many different ways. What we're going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Paul. Paul's going to talk about the practical side of how to use the appointment system, shall we say, and then we'll come back and take some questions and answers and give you some tips how to make the most out of the event. Paul, can I hand over to you?
Okay, right. So we're going to go to the appointments request page. This is the first thing you'll see of the appointment system if you haven't made your request yet. Some of you, if you made them, you'll see this. So we log in. I've got two things prepared already. And straight away, you'll see a list of all the companies you can meet with. So it recognizes your number. There we go. And it will show you your name at the top. And down here, you'll see all the companies that you can meet with. Now, this person's already made requests, so we can play around with them and I'll reset it afterwards. But so on the left-hand panel are all the companies you can meet with. That's every single person you could choose from. Now, to make it easier, because there's a lot of companies attending, we've got the filters here. And first filter is where you can use a category or country filter to see who is representing in that case. So if we went for hotels, and let's say, somewhere I know there's some United Kingdom, you apply filter. And what will happen is it will shorten the list of companies available. You'll be able to see, no, it's not done it yet. It's a bit of a latency issue here at the moment. Here we go. We're using a router for this demonstration, which hasn't got a great connectivity at the moment. Okay, so you've got all the hotels. So these are all the hotels representing the United Kingdom. If you wanted to change your filter, pick another country, just simply go to that country, Italy, apply filter again. And it's the same process. When you're doing this on your computer, it'll be a lot quicker. Oh yeah, there we go. And then you've got the selections for Italy. Now, if you want to change filter, you can use the other filter, which is to show people who've requested your category or your region or both. So what you have to do, first of all, it's important this, you have to reset the first filter to show all companies and apply filter. If you don't do that, it will try and filter the results based on what you've got on the screen already. And so then we can go to, so this is, we're going to say, okay, I'm a tour operator and I want to see who's interested in the United Kingdom. Apply filter.
And this will now bring up tour operators based in the United Kingdom.
It will show the suppliers, because you're in here as a buyer, so it will show the buyers, it will show the suppliers who express an interest in seeing tour operators from the United Kingdom. So you have to, so you'd filter what you are represent. So it depends what you are, and you put in what you are, or you can also be nosy and find what other people are doing. Okay. And here you can see that we've already got 5 selections made and 1 still available. So we could add that. So to add a company, which I'll do now, we add it over, and that simply goes to the bottom of the list on the right-hand panel. Now, these are the selections that this person has made already. So what we're going to do is you can put them in order of your preference. Because
at the moment, the problem is they're just appearing in alphabetical order,
exactly,
obviously, which is not necessarily the right way around, of course.
Yeah. We don't want that alphabetical order. Is one of the biggest problems we have, because it overweights the companies at the top of the alphabet with requests as priority requests. We take your top 3 requests as the most important.
Sure.
So what we do, so to move up or down, you've got the buttons here, up, up, until you're happy. So if you want to, you can't move this one all the way to the top with 1 click, unfortunately, but move someone down.
So for example, in this case, Paris is the #1 choice.
#1 choice.
Even though actually alphabetically it comes near the bottom, it doesn't matter. In this case, what matters is you've made it #1. Whether it starts with A or Z, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So it's very important.
Yeah. So the top 3, the appointment system will first calculate, when we're doing the matching process, your top 3 requests. So that's the first thing it'll go to, and it'll try and match everyone's top 3 requests. It'll work 1, then 2, then 3, and then we'll work on the remaining requests to fill up your schedules. So when you're happy with the order you've got here, press Submit My Choices. And what you'll see is it's saving, and that means your requests have been saved. And you'll see a summary of what you've done. So that, and at the same time, you'll also receive an email with a list, with exactly the same list, telling you what happens next. If you decided, oh, I want to change that, you can go in straight away here, or you can simply revisit the page at another time. If we go back in, you'll just see the same page again. But what will happen if we keep an appointment system open until Friday, 5 PM or end of work, and you can revisit the page as many times as you want between now and then to revise your request. So if you change your mind, or you want to see if anyone else has been added, please do so. Go back in, and what the appointment system does, it takes the last list you submit as your request. So at 5 PM on Friday, whatever the last list of appointments you've made or requested, that will be what the list will be taken by the appointment system, and it will try and match those requests for you. Okay, so that's the end of the initial matching phase. So when we close the appointment system, what happens next is it's all run by algorithms, and it matches all your requests up. And we work on making sure that you've got the best request possible. So we'll have a manual intervention. That process will take best part of the week next. So you should receive an email from us towards the end of the week, Friday probably, and that will be a list of your provisional appointments. That's provisional because we're still a week ahead of the event. We're still getting people registering. We still might have a few changes. We might need to move appointments around. If somebody has an appointment, they need to leave early or something like that. So it's important to know this is a provisional list, and your final list will be available probably 24 to 48 hours before the workshop, which you can view online again by the same process of where you made your request in the first place. If you keep that website and number handy, your confirmation number, but you also receive that in the provisional email as well. So, and you'll be able to see your provisional lists up until we go final, about 48 hours before the event, and you'll receive a list of your final appointments in your delegate pack. That will be a printed list, which you'll have on the day when you arrive at the workshop, along with your badge and every other useful bit of information. And your request on your appointment list, this is important, your appointments will be a mixture of your requests. So these are the ones that you've made yourself. There'll be requests that have been received for your company. So it won't be just your request, it'll be your request plus request received your company, and if we can fill up any more relevant appointments based on the questions you answered in registration of which regions, which categories, which products you're interested in or representing, we'll try and add those appointments to your agenda as well, so that everyone has as many appointments as possible. For the last few years at GEM, we've created around about 13,000 appointments each year, so it's quite a lot of work. Okay, that's all I've got to say for the moment. We'll take questions now.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Paul. That seems very, very clear to me. Very good point that you make there, which is that you have a chance, everybody still has a chance until the end of this week to reorder, add extra people that maybe they weren't aware of, and be aware that that's still going to be a provisional thing, because there will still be people who are potentially going to be adding at the last minute. It happens. Obviously, there are some people out there who are just suddenly realizing they need to get involved. We also have, particularly on the buyer side, some people who realize that they need to add extra delegates to handle all the potential requests as well. So really, yes, this week is a week to set your own sort of list, and then next week there will be little changes, extra things added and so forth. And then the key thing is to remember is that the final list, the one that matters the most, is the one you get on the day. If you're a buyer, it's on your desk in your pack. And if you're a supplier, it's when you pick it up at the entrance at the Intercontinental London, the O2, which is a fantastic new venue for GEM, the first time that we're going to be there. Good, right. Well, let's see if we have any particular questions coming up. While we're waiting for the question here, actually one that has come up is someone asked, if you're a supplier, does it make sense, a little bit like you would do with a play, should we say, to have almost a script that you've practiced and you're ready? And my personal advice, and the advice of many people that have fed back to us, my personal advice as someone who's been to a lot of events as a buyer, is probably not actually. Obviously, you will have an idea of what sort of things you want to show, maybe the materials you have with you. But if you're a supplier, a really big piece of advice, and this has been asked here by a couple of people, is to actually start by checking. You've got 12 minutes anyway, and after initial hello and a welcome, by checking to see if you probably understand what the buyer is particularly interested in. Because it might be that they're talking about certain things on that occasion, and then you can alter what you want to show and what you want to make of this 12-minute period at that spot. Don't forget, in many cases, you're using that spot to get some basic ideas and to set some things up, which can then be followed up afterwards. So really important, I think, if you're a supplier, to not just launch into your 15, 20 appointments every time, a practice thing, but actually just start very quickly and say, just out of interest, you know, what sort of markets are you working with? Have I properly understood what you're doing? And equally, you may find that some buyers as well may have people asking the question the other way around as well. It's good to take a moment to properly understand and make sure you really properly take on board what the other side is doing there. We have a question here. It says, can I make any changes once I've submitted my choice